Hello and welcome to another installment of Comparative Reasoning. I'm your host, Cedric Kennedy. And yeah, I'm going to talk about this and might as well get prepared to hit that dislike button because nobody's going to like this. Nobody. So today, my topic is we need to end the fight of carnivore versus herbivore or herbivore, which I want to say. People across the pond say herbivore because there's an H in it. And I cannot help but to agree. So, here's the thing. If you're just vegetarian, vegan, if you're carnivore, omnivore, I'm going to let you know the idea is consumption. It's food. It's just your palate is what you like. There are people out there that are highly allergic to meat. There's some that are highly allergic to fruits and vegetables. I'm one of them. I'm allergic to certain meat, and I'm allergic to citric acid so far that I know of. Going on how my issues are, I have an issue with that and a lot of things from vegetables. So look, that's not the basis of what my argument is, but understand that there is different strokes for different folks and there are reasons for it. Now, while that can sum up any and everything in life, it's not an excuse to just do whatever you want to do. Don't abuse that knowledge. Don't abuse that freedom. You know, once you abuse something, somebody's going to get hurt, whether it be you or someone else. And that's what's been happening. People turn what they consume into their own personal religion, and then they find like-minded, then it becomes a cult. And that cult is, we are vegan, we are against you. We are herbivores or vegetarians, we are against you meat eaters. You meat eaters are barbaric, gross, and we attach every single thing that's negative in society to you because you eat meat. That's what I grew up hearing. You know what else I grew up hearing? We're carnivores. And if you're eating vegetables and your fruits and stuff, you're weak, you're wimpy, you're nobody, and you aren't good for any kind of companionship because what you're going to do with all those vegetables and you have no muscles. Oh my goodness. So I've been hearing this my whole life. And I really thought, because I wasn't, I'm a little kid. I wasn't thinking that this was an adult issue. I thought this was just a lazy tribal mindset. And when you get older, you will get away from that because obviously these people don't know anything. Yeah, I didn't know. So when I get older and I'm getting on YouTube and MySpace, which I didn't even like MySpace for the same reasons I don't like Facebook. I don't like that tribal mindedness. We eat vegetables, so we hate meat eaters. We're meat eaters, we hate vegetarians. What is the point? Why is there a fight? Why is there a debate? Can't you just eat what you eat? I mean, when you really break down to it, if you're a meat eater, okay, you are taking a life. This is for those that lasted this long. You're taking a life. You're killing an animal. You're killing a fellow creature that lives, that breathes, that reproduces. That's what you're doing. And since you're doing that, they judge you as gross, vile, contemptible. And then they'll raise anything that they can, consuming meat adds so much methane and things like that. There are a lot of studies, a lot of things like that for confirmation bias. Anything that can prove their side, they will find. Anything they can twist, they will use. Whether it be an actual fact or it's subjective, they're going to use it. Anecdotal or anything beyond. Vegetarians, not necessarily, but those who have proclaimed themselves vegans tend to do this. When I've met vegetarians, I just eat vegetables and then that's it. But it's those that classified themselves as vegans that went that crazy religious level. You have to have vegetables. If not, then you're a horrible person. They judge you up and down. That's what I grew up around. That's what I grew up listening to on these channels. You know, and they consider, and they don't really understand. They don't understand. Yeah, a cow, you know, cow, a chicken. They're all, yes, that's meat. You know, the mammoth, meat, deer, meat, squirrel, possum, whichever, raccoon, something. They're gonna fish. You know, the worms. People eat worms, grasshoppers. Some eat these very large tarantulas. Gross. Crickets, all other stuff. Now that's not a meat, is it? But it's a something that was alive. So if you want to take a life in order to sustain yourself, in truth, y'all should really be mad at every carnivore on any hunting plains in Africa, or somewhere in, you know, Tibet and things like that. You know, I mean, wolves, tigers, coyote, lions, hyenas, you know, they eat meat. Bobcats, wildcats of any form. It's what they do. We have molars and incisors for ripping at meat, for ripping at harsh vegetation. We are omnivores. And while those arguments of eating meat can, you know, yeah, I do agree. In terms of you're taking a life, how could you take a life? It takes a cruel and vicious person to take a life. I get that. But what about the vegans? What about, you know, their hubris? No one thinks about that. And when you turn it on them, oh, now they get mad. Then they get mad because they don't want to admit where they've been in error. And they say, where are we in error? We're not taking a life. But you are. You are. Plants live. Plants are alive. There have been multiple case studies about plants that vibe to music. When you are around talking to them and nurturing and whatnot, plants seem to grow better, faster, produce better, you know, fruits or vegetables or whatnot. You know, their petals grow faster, more fuller, lush. These things have been known. You know, insects and bugs help trees, plants, and things like that. They kill down creeping vines and things so that trees can flourish and not get, you know, they're also called strangler vines and I think strangler figs. But plants breathe. They breathe CO2. We breathe, you know, well, oh my goodness, oxygen. You know, I want to be chemical, but I'm just, this is why I should never talk while looking at my daughter watch TV. But everything jumps out of my head. But still, you know, and I keep it real with y'all. I keep it real. So if I flub, I mess up, at least it's real. I'm not going to edit this to make myself seem awesome. No, I'm going to keep it real with y'all, you know? And so while plants breathe in the carbon dioxide we exhale, we breathe in the oxygen they exhale. It's a give and take thing. It's a back and forth. Our air isn't 100% oxygen. Oxygen is one of the few things in it. It's a very small compound in it. Predominantly is nitrogen, and there's other things in it. When they talk about killing, like they burn the forest, you know, in Brazil, they burn those forests. In California, the forests are burning, you know, I think it was 100,000 acres so far. This is our air that's dying. The things that help us breathe, things that pump the oxygen in, you know, into the air, that's burning up. When they break down those thousands and millions of acres to put up parking lots, strip malls, and other buildings, that's our ability to, they're breaking that down. They're killing it. So if everyone went vegetarian, what do you think would happen? And a lot of you can say, well, you know, we still got the trees and we still got the grass, and that does some things. The Sahara was once an ocean, you know. multiple deserts were once vast grasslands. And not only is that naturally done to remove that stuff, but you got also human intervention that's creating more cement lands and not just dirt lands. You've got people that created the Great Dust Bowl when they used their cows and they just overgrazed them and they just let them run wild and just eat all the grass and stuff. That created the Dust Bowl that killed crops that started killing people. Everything is linked. You can't demonize a carnivore, and a carnivore can't demonize an herbivore, because both sides are needed. In the human genome, we eat those things. And then, yes, you could link either one. We both share, humans share a genetic link with these things. The food you eat, the ones that had life and give life, they're mammals, for the most part, because there's some, I'm against this because I love reptiles, but turtles, snakes, alligators, people eat those. But we have links with those plants, trees, bananas, coconuts, things like that. We've got links to those. Can we just stop the fights? Can we evolve mentally past this pettiness? This you're bad because you eat this? I love fruits and vegetables. I like meats. And I can't have a lot of fruits and vegetables because of the high acid content in them. So I'm mad about that. I eat them anyway and it messes me up. I don't eat them like I really would love to. Because truthfully, if I could have fruits and vegetables, naturally, I would probably shy away from a lot of meat most of the time because, meat satisfies my want to chew. But fruits, vegetables, berries, that satisfies that thing that I want, that sweet, the sugar without the granulated crap, just natural sugars. It satisfies that. And it gives me nutrients that I actually need. And yes, truthfully, for the vegans and herbivores, there are lots of vegetables that gives you the nutrients that you would need. But there are lots of things they just can't give you. A lot of things that only meat can give you. And I'll tell you this, have any of you ever bitten into a carrot and tasted that sweet center? Has any of you ever done that? It's really sweet. It's really good. And if you have it enough, you're going to really want to not eat the rest of the carrot. You just want to cut it open and get to that. And if you haven't tasted that and you are considered a herbivore, are you really? If you couldn't taste that? And you think about, oh my goodness. I'm just saying this is pointless. Because I see people that go out there and they pick stuff off of, pick the potatoes, the carrots and things. You're ripping them from the plant. Ripping them. Imagine somebody coming off and ripping off, one of your fingernails. Snatching the hair off your head. Imagine you got a scab. Somebody come by and say, oh, you know what? Rip that off and throw it somewhere. Be like, it'll heal anyway. You're doing that to them. Plants, they bleed when you cut them. They're highly damaged and usually die when you break them. No different than any other four-legged animal, any quadruped out there. Anything, that slides or pushes on the ground, like snakes. Everything lives. Everything that we consume lives. Because in truth, nobody eats anything that's already been dead and rotted. That's why everybody wants their fruit and their meats fresh. Killed, processed a little bit, transported, put it on the shelves in the same day, bought and ate the same day. Packaged and vacuum sealed so that microbes can't just grow so readily. Just think about that. This whole debate is pointless. This whole fight and division is pointless. You're a herbivore, that's you. You're a carnivore, that's you. Y'all get together, get married, fine. One eats vegetables only, the other eats meat, fine. It doesn't have to be religious. You don't have to judge somebody up and down based on what they consume. I can see if they were, okay, if you're eating people, yeah, I mean, you don't see lions eating each other. They kill them. A lion will kill a lion and leave it alone. They'll let the hyenas or something else get to it. It's rare when you see those animals eat their own, and it's very rare when you see us human animals eat our own. Some it's not, you know, most, they're not even sick in the head. It's just a thing. It's just them. Just like you are just you. Everything that you think negative about somebody that's doing something, before you go all full judgmental, just for a moment, think, what if that person was thinking those negative things about you? You'd be defensive. You'd be like, well, ain't nothing wrong with me because I'm not doing what you're doing. They might be feeling the exact same way. So if anything, before judging someone, talk to them, sit down, have that conversation. Don't make it personal. It ain't about you. What they eat isn't about you. And what you eat, you automatically say, well, what I do is what I do. It ain't about you. You don't even worry about it. Then give them that standard as well. Please. So we can end this, kill this from our arguments, kill this from our conversation, kill this from our societal separations, so that we can at least not have this extra division. Let's kill these divisions by having the open and honest conversations with those that we want to judge as negative. There are people I know that are just vegan. And you know what? They're okay people. I like them. I'm a carnivore. Actually, I'm an omnivore that can't really be. Can I be all right with y'all? I'm just saying. There are too many friends that are being missed and given the opportunity to be a friend. And it shouldn't be because they eat what we don't like. If anyone out there eating spiders, I find it gross and nasty, but thank you. My arachnophobia is too high for me to not appreciate you. It's gross. It's gross to an umpteenth level. But I appreciate you. Come to my house and find the spiders here. Please. This has been Cedric Kennedy for Comparative Reasoning. Thank you for listening.